Hi, this is Carl Polachek, and welcome to another SMB Community Podcast. My guest today is Mr. Dave Seibert. Welcome, sir.
Thanks, Carl. Glad to be here.
So first, I want to talk about a few blog posts that I think are worth looking at. And the first one is over at the Logic Now blog. There's a great blog post that was just put up on managing your daily flow. And, it's interesting because we have the big habits of life, and then we have all the little stuff that we have to do every day. And at the end of the day, the truth is that your big habits are made up of your little habits. So anyway, check that out at logicnow.com. And then the second blog post of interest is from Mr. Robert Crane, my good friend down in Australia. Always good stuff. And he's actually just posted up I believe it's his episode 11 of his Need to Know podcast. So if you haven't heard that before, absolutely check it out. Robert is an expert on, of course, SharePoint, but also the Office 365 products. And he knows about more products than I've ever heard of from Microsoft. Like he will say, are you using this tool? And I'll be like, I've never even heard of that tool. So anyway, he's absolutely somebody to be connected to. He's doing a lot of cool stuff with business intelligence. There's a whole new BI thing going on at Microsoft. So anyway, check out that. And that's linked below, obviously, but also on the Small Biz Thoughts blog. It's part of my blog roll over to the right. So just scroll down, you'll find it. The third blog I wanted to point out was Ken Thorson, who is a great sales trainer, and he has a blog on the 3 magic questions that you need to know. So if you haven't checked out Ken, I absolutely recommend that you do that. Again, linked below, also linked on my blog roll at smallbizthoughts.com.
Ken rocks.
There you go. So let me give you my introduction to Dave, and then I'll let Dave give you his own introduction. So Dave Seibert is a long time, like he's sold, it's scary, long time member of the SMB community, a leader in this community from day one, former SBSer of the Year, which is now the Jim Locke Award winner. And so he's been a great founder of communities, a leader of communities. He is runs currently the IAMCP operation in Southern California. And I think you're either president or vice president, depending on which day of the week it is. And of course, he's a founder of SMB and is now running that organization. And what we're going to talk about today is he's the founder and primary person in charge of the SMB TechFest. And we're going to go into quite a bit of detail about what is SMB TechFest and why you might want to pay some attention to what's going on. Dave, what would you add to that long list of things? Plus, he's an award winner of everything you could possibly imagine. You name an award, he's got it. So,
I'm going to blush. On a fun note, Carl and I have the honor, the privilege of introducing each other, and I'll have to make sure that next time I introduce Carl on stage, I try to find some way to make him blush. So
good luck with that.
It is true that I have a lot of history and passion for our community and the channel, and hence that's where I spend a lot of my time. And funny on the title, so IAMCP, little 1 minute of memory lane. So I am the president for the largest chapter in the U.S., and it's really exciting to see people interact the way they do. And I was a 4-year vice president back in the day, so hence vice president, president, and likewise SMB TN, or SMB Technology Network, president of that organization with partners all over the U.S. And you mentioned we'll talk about SMB TechFest in a few moments, but I'll share with people that I'm also a Microsoft MVP and proud to be a contributor in that role. And then I'm also involved in other things, including SCORE. I present for SCORE and SBA and United Way, and that's really been great to participate in that. And I also did Small Business Administration, a national webinar series with Microsoft, which was really cool. And I do currently sit on two Microsoft partner councils, one US-wide and one worldwide. So hopefully a lot of information I can share and contribute back to everybody. But that's a little bit of a highlight.
So are you old enough to present at SCORE? I thought you had to be retired and like 70 and...
You can't tell. So it's funny. So they have something called SCORE mentors, and the mentors are the ones that are that age bracket, and then they have SCORE presenters, and I fall under the presenters category, not the mentors category.
Got it. Presenters and mentors. All
there
right.
you go. They find a way to get everybody involved.
Nice. Very cool. So, all right, let us then turn to TechFest. So I describe TechFest as a great, very friendly, community-oriented conference that happens 4 times a year. And I guess the thing that for me separates it, and I'll let you correct anything I say, but the thing that for me separates it from the other events is that it's not so vendor-driven that you lose the ability to actually communicate with people who are part of the community, if you know what I mean. So some of the events we go to, I made a comment to somebody in an email yesterday, like, this is stuff you're not going to get in a vendor webinar. It's just not. And so give us the view from 30,000 feet. What is SMB TechFest, and what's the goal? Why does it exist?
Yeah. So, we'll start with the secret sauce, so to speak, the thing that you're supposed to end with somewhere. I think the secret sauce is that I'm part of the channel, meaning I'm a partner myself. So like many, I have an MSP practice, and being part of the industry, I go also to a lot of events, and I think to myself, what do I want out of these events? What do I want to experience? And one of the first things I want to experience is not only the event itself, because that's why you're there, but I want to experience all the other attendees, because the mass knowledge that's in the room is amazing at a conference. And everybody always talks about the hallway conversations, where the real value happens at the bar, happens in the hallway. Doesn't necessarily happen in the sessions. Sessions are great, but those conversations with other partners. And number 2 is I really kind of despise death by PowerPoint, where you have the slide up and it talks about who their enterprise, corporate, 10,000 employee clients are. And of course, that's not most of us. We're SMB focused. And we can all argue if that's 500 and down, 100 and down, or what the size is, but it's definitely not 10,000.
Right.
So when the event happens, what really makes it special is that unique perspective, meaning I'm not a media company. I'm not coming from a journalist point of view or a trade point of view. I'm coming from a partner point of view. And I'm taking those qualities that I hear other partners say they want in an event and inserting that and making that part of the venue and the experience. I think that's what makes it special. Very good. So a good example. Go ahead.
I want to make sure people know the address. I'm going to put it down below, but it's smbtechfest.com. And if they put in /Carl, they can actually attend free of charge, either remotely or in person.
So a good thing that you point out. So we literally have hundreds of providers that attend it every single quarter, and we also have hundreds that attend online. So it is full video broadcast live. So no matter where you are, we have people that come US-wide that fly in, but we also have people US-wide that watch it online. We have UK, we have Australia, bless them for the time zone change. But it's really great to see the list of where partners around the globe come from, because it is also online.
And you record, so I have a little Sony, camcorder like yours. But you can't just like stick that thing on the computer and stream it over the internet. So you've got equipment, you've got guys who help you out. Are they your employees, or are they members of your IT Pro user group that you have hired for the day? Or
no, they're part of our team.
Okay.
And so they're part of our team, and they wear more than one hat in life, and so it's kind of like having an employee that is also a musician. I happen to have people on the team that are also AV. It's like their passion.
Right.
And hence we find a slot for them to handle the AV at the event. And absolutely, we're recording audio, we're recording video, we're recording slide decks, and then we're streaming it out. And then afterward, we package it. One of the things I always think about when I attend an event is trying to remember everything. And you get back home, you get back to the office, and you just don't remember everything. Or you want to share it with your team, with your sales team, your tech team, your ops team, your marketing team. So the ability to download those and then share them with your team is something I've always wanted. So hence it exists at SMB TechFest.
Right. Well, and I know as a presenter, I appreciate that people can ask questions from the audience, and somebody running the tech will actually raise their hand and say, we have an online question. So, somebody from Norway has a question or whatever. So,
yep. And what's really great is everybody gets to learn from that question, and everybody gets to learn from the answer, both in the room as well as online. So that's cool.
So I'm going to take a different approach to conferences. One of the things that makes a conference worthwhile is the food. So, as silly as it sounds, you can be having a great day, but when people are, looking at soggy leftovers from a steam tray, it just loses something, and so for people who are on site, obviously, they're not the people coming in from Australia, but the people who are on site, you have this at a facility where you don't have to use the hotel quote unquote catering, which is the same stuff that they are serving to 9 different, outfits that day. You bring in really good food, whether it's Mexican food, Chinese food, whatever. It's really impressive. So it's one of these things where you've gone out of your way to set it up in a way where it makes the day very enjoyable, not something where you go, oh crap, we have to eat here again. You can't walk to McDonald's.
I appreciate you bringing this up, but I'll share some fun really fast. Number one, you're right. Once again, I go to events and most of the food is just not that good. And furthermore, I went to an event down in San Diego not too long ago, and there was no food inside the conference hall itself. You literally had to leave the conference center and walk down the street and go get food and bring it back.
Right.
And, well, what can I say? That's just not the kind of experience that you want. So it's quite purposeful. That's a good word. It's quite purposeful that the venue is such that the conference is there, and we can do some really cool things, which we'll talk about the car that's coming up, but also food, as you say. So all the food is purposely selected, and you're right. We've had some really great taco bars. We've had awesome Chinese food. Things that you just wouldn't normally get at a hotel menu, and not only that, but beer, wine, and then just some experiences that you couldn't pull off in a conference center or a hotel.
Right, exactly. So, in case folks haven't heard of you, haven't heard of TechFest, there's some actual news. There's some media coverage recently that you can point to, and I think you've got some magazines you can show us of, like, I know that you've got them cut out and probably in little frames that you can stick on the wall.
So, the community's been good to me, and I really enjoy the community as well. And we've also really climbed the charts. There's a lot of conferences out there, and quite a few media companies have ranked us in the top 50 channel conferences now, which is really exciting to make that list.
Especially since there's like 200 of them.
Yeah, so we've done well. It's been growing every single quarter for 15, 16 quarters in a row. It's been growing and expanding, and now several hundreds of partners attend. Our expo hall is now 12,000 square feet.
Wow.
So really good size expo hall. I'll have a little bit of fun here with you. Our friends over at the channel company, CRN, has made information and spotlighted SMB TechFest event and their national magazine. Of course, our friends over at Channel Pro that also has an event, and I would recommend you see that and experience that event anytime. Carl and I both present at that conference that they have. And they have highlighted the event and promoted to their audience, and they have been fantastic, and you would learn more about SMB TechFest inside of their national magazine. Same thing for Business Solutions magazine. Once again, great industry friends. I think we all fish in the same ocean, and it's a great ocean to be part of. And then, gosh, what else here? Telecom Reseller. So Telecom Reseller also has us spotlighted as well. So a lot of national coverage. And as I mentioned, some of the great, Carl, you have a list of conferences, and I appreciate us making your list. And Channel E2E, Joe Panettiere has us on his list. And Vargai, which is now Penton Group, has us on their list. We're on the CompTIA list. We've had some great coverage, and that's really been great. And that's part of what's contributed on top of what you point out, the secret sauce that makes this a great event. Put all those together, and it's really been gaining momentum.
Right. So tell us about the speakers that you have, because it changes every quarter, but you try to have a theme, and you try to bring new content every time, because obviously you want repeat attendees, but you're also getting new folks every time. And there's some people that say, oh, I'll do, one a year or two a year or whatever. So tell us about the speakers and kind of just sort of generically what you try to get across with the speakers, because they're not just vendors hawking their wares.
Yeah. So the first one, it is quarterly, and it's quarterly on purpose again. So I know there's annual events, and I attend them. But those annual events, our industry, technology, and business changes way too fast for a once-a-year event. And matter of fact, some of us get news briefs and newsletters and blogs on literally a daily basis of things that are happening in our industry. So I think that quarterly is a really good rhythm. Quarterly allows for 4 times a year. We have complete brand new products that come on the market literally weekly, let alone quarterly. So we turn around, and partners are always emailing me with something new that they've seen, that they say, hey, this would be great to be seen at SMB TechFest. And that's how a lot of these topics make it up on the stage, is because other partners found it of high value, and it's like, oh, that's a great topic, or that's a great new product, or that's a great new solution. So that's how they make it up for everyone to experience. The other thing you mentioned is no repeat topics. So I don't repeat topics. And so we do have people, quite a few, that experience the conference every quarter, and they will not see the same presentation from our speakers. And there is so much content in our industry, there's no need to repeat content. So it's not a road show. A road show is where you have a set of 10, 12, 15 people that travel, kind of like Holiday on Ice, if you've ever, experienced a ice show. And they go from city to city to city, and they kind of repeat the same content. So it's not a road show. It's a conference with unique presentations that are designed to ignite your business to make a change so that you can grow when you go back to the office the next day. And you mentioned the speakers. We got awesome speakers. Most of them fly in. They're handpicked. They are business coaches like yourself. They are marketing people like Kendra Lee, who's actually going to be there in Q4.
Nice.
And there are leaders in the industry like Mike Simmel. We have awesome speakers. If you were to go visit the website, there's actually a tab in the menu that says prior speakers. And I think you can really tell the real substance of a conference when you look at who the speakers are. And that's why that tab is up there. And that way you get a feel of the industry leaders that come and present that really make a big impact. Dan Shapiro, quite a few awesome names in our industry. Yourself, Gil Cargill, a lot of really great talent.
Right. Well, the other thing that you sort of touched on is the new things that are constantly coming out. You have a great vendor hall, by the way. Just, it's so interesting because it's different every time. But every time you do it, I walk in, I go, oh man, this is really cool. Like, I don't know how you up your game every time, but you somehow manage to do that. And one of the things you have there is a showcase where you say, here are some widgets and gadgets, and sometimes it's a camera, and sometimes it's a piece of network equipment or whatever. You've always got something to show off, and you bring one or two of them up on the stage after breaks, but people can go there and literally say, I want to put my hands on this cool new fun thing, and you've got it right there, and it's that you don't charge people for it. You just you go to the effort to make that happen. So obviously you have some show and tell for us.
Well, it's funny. I didn't plan on this.
I was going to say we didn't talk about this.
It was sitting here beside me, and it's for the next show. But you're right, an awesome showcase. Once again, it really happens because other partners are engaged. And they turn around and they'll email and say, hey, you have to check this out. And then when I see something that I think is really exciting, I'll turn around and put it on the showcase. And both the on-site attendees and the online attendees can view and experience it. So let's have a little bit of fun. This happens to just be sitting here. This is from P-Touch, and it is a label maker. And you go, label maker.
Wow.
Okay.
That's a big label maker.
It's a pretty good. Actually, it holds in your hand.
Okay.
So just a big case, but it holds in your hand. But let me tell you what's great about this thing. This label maker, it's just a couple $100. But what makes it special is it allows you to produce about 30 kinds of labels that people in our industry would need. So if you want to go ahead and make a tubular label to go around a fiber line, it will print tubular labels.
Wow.
If you want to print a label that will go on a network cable, it will do that. You want to print a label that goes on a flexible device, it will do that. It's really great that it prints everything from about 1/4 of an inch to about 2.5 inches. And like I mentioned, it will do tubes, it will do stretch, it will do wraps. Not bad for a couple $100. So there's always something exciting.
So you have that in the vendor hall, but obviously you have vendors in the vendor hall, and a great selection of vendors. I don't know, how many did you have last time?
Yeah, we had some 35 plus.
And I've, like you, I'm always an advocate that we should use the vendors. They're using us, right? It's the vendors who make stuff like this possible, but we should use them. We can use them to educate us on what's the new thing that's happening in networking, what's the new thing that's happening in printing, what are the opportunities you have. And, if you go from vendor to vendor to vendor, and, obviously you want to pick up the squeezy toys and the pens, but you also want to say, put me on your list and give me some education. Show me how I can make money. And, if there's one thing these vendors need to do more of, it's they need to show us how I can make money with their stuff.
Absolutely.
And the final thing that you have in the vendor hall is you have a car. So tell us about the car, because you had a Lamborghini, and I think you had an Audi last time.
Yep.
So what's the thing with the car?
Oh, that's great. So, the first one, I was going to have a little bit of fun. I was looking, and I don't know where I laid it. Somebody took it from my office. Of course, good old Dado has their coffee cups, which is great. And I have a shark from WebRoot that my cell phone normally sits in. So, you got to have fun. You got to pick up the bling. And really quick, education. These vendors talk to all of us partners, and there's nothing better than to get a vendor sharing the successes that other partners have, because that's how we all learn. So don't think of a vendor just as what product are they peddling. Think about the fact that these vendors are interacting with thousands of partners, and they have incredible stories of success to share with all of us. And part of that is what I have them do is share those stories, because that's how we succeed, by learning what they have to share with us. So they have so much more to offer. They really do.
Right.
And then on the cars, you got to have fun. So sometimes conferences are just boring. They really are. So the theme is Accelerate at SMB TechFest. And Accelerate is in accelerate your business. Take your business to the next level. And I thought, accelerate. Boy, we got to have some fun with that. Accelerate. What goes fast? Cars. And most technology people love high-tech cars. So hence each event we have live exotic cars on site. We do raffles with them. And we've had a Lamborghini there. We've had a Ferrari on the floor. We've had, as you mentioned, the Audi. And I didn't announce yet what Q4 is, but we're going to do it now.
All right.
So Q4, the car for Q4, wait for it. It's going to be a McLaren. So
nice.
We have a McLaren on the floor for Q4, 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, 204 miles an hour, 562 horsepower.
So I don't want to own that thing. So why would I join the lot of the
You get a chance. So we do raffles, and those raffles allow you to have a 3.5 hour experience driving the car behind the wheel. So you go out on a private slalom style racetrack, and before you go out there, you get instruction of how to control the paddles on the steering wheel to shift and accelerate. You learn how to go around corners of a racetrack, and how to understand the markers of brake, accelerate, and let me tell you, it is an adrenaline rush to turn around and jump in a Ferrari or a Lamborghini or the McLaren and get this thing up to 130 and then go around a hairpin turn. Not at
nice
30, you got to brake first.
And at the conference, you've got the car. So if nothing else, even if I don't win, I can get my picture taken sitting in the car, standing next to the car.
They're great to see, and everybody takes their photo with it, and it also contributes to the atmosphere of the event. So when you come to SMB TechFest, you're going to have fun. You're going to learn. You're going to learn a lot. Your sponge is going to be overflowing. but at the same time, as you mentioned, you're going to have awesome taco bar, Chinese food, networking with other partners, beer, wine. We have a basketball hoop there.
That's right.
We have a little putt-putt golf going. We have fun as we learn, because that's what it's all about.
Very good. Well, thank you, sir. This has been very educational, and I hope that folks will, check out smbtechfest.com. I will certainly be there in October, and I would encourage folks to join me.
And let's share really fast. So here's the nice little card for it. But October's event is October 20 and 21. That's Thursday and Friday. And you can see the whole year schedule, meaning all of 2017 as well, just by going to www.smbtechfest.com/events.
Very nice.
/events. You will find out the next venue. Don't miss, Carl has your event piggybacking as well.
Yep. So my fall event, my 12th annual fall event will be
it's going to be
immediately after SMB TechFest.
Absolutely. So don't miss that either. Going to be great.
Very good. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate your being with us today. And as always, we're going to link everything to the site. And with luck, we'll get you a few more attendees.
Awesome. Thanks, Carl.